So in today's video, I'm taking the $2 auction items that nobody wanted at the auction, taking the undesirable, very needy pieces and sharing with you how I'm going to be making them over. Yes, each one of these, the lowest bid they usually go at auctions is $2. And that's what I got these pieces. I probably should have left behind, but nobody was taking them at the auction. So I'm like, okay, for the couple bucks, I will take this. Then outside. But I know I have a hard time selling any stools that have that in the middle that are easy to carry. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to pop it off and just use the base. I'm hoping anyway. I always have big hopes for stuff. Okay, wish me luck. Hey. Alrighty then. Okay, we have a base. If anything, just hammer them back in. The point right now is to get things tightened up so that it's not wonky. These nails are loose, but they're character, so we're just going to add some brads in. That is actually separated. The wood probably dried. So the wood probably dried out more, separated it. So I think I'm just going to do some Bondo on that part. We got a little bit going on here too. I might be able to, 2 cracks right here, but I might be able to, there again, go in with the brad nail and mix up some Bondo. I've got my clamp ready. Stick it in there. There we go. It wasn't terrible to get it to be nice and sturdy, fill in the cracks. Yes, you can use Bondo as a glue. It bonds 2 things together and it's hard. So now I have a couple pieces of pallet wood. I picked out some wider pieces because I think it'll be like a perfect little fit for the top. I don't need much of an overhang. One rough side. But we're going to use, I like it because it's kind of already beat up a little bit with some cracks. So I'm going to leave a little, that other one had a little bit of overhang. So that's what I'm going to do. Just a little bit of overhang. Do this way. It's going to be the same length as the ruler. That's what it is on the other side. So I am going to go ahead and sand these a little bit. What I'm going to use as underneath is very rough. So this was probably just weathered because it had been out in the weather. And so wood will swell and shrink and do all that stuff if it's left out in the elements, especially if your temperatures like here in Michigan change a lot. So I've got some Type Bond Quick and Thick. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get these on. Sides even, y'all. Take some brad nails and brad nail it in. Go ahead and sand, make sure that our edges are going to match up. Okay, I'm going to get it wiped down, get the sanding dust off, whatever is going to be on here. Okay, so I want to seal everything in, whatever was previously on there, whatever previous paint is there. Yeah, I'm just going to give it a good sealing, and y'all know that I love shellac, and that is what works for me, so that's what I'm going to be using today. So I do want to make some chippiness here, but I'm trying to match up to this green for right now. So which I think matches aviary. So clean, and I think that matches better. Oh, I definitely it's gypsy green. Once I got that lid all, I'm like, nope, gypsy green it is. So that is what I'm doing. We're gonna give it a whole coat of gypsy green, and then I'll share the process of how I'm going to still make it chippy. The shellac really helps that paint grab on though, so that's nice. One of the things I love about DIY paint is you can dry it in between coat. Well, I'm only doing one coat on this layer, but I can dry it to flip it over. Before putting my next paint and paint color on here, I'm going to seal this in with another coat of shellac because I'm looking for chippiness, crazing, crackling, the whole, like what it was before, just not as extreme and cleaner. It's actually a pretty cool patina just like that, but not finished, not finished. I'm actually going to save myself some time and product by taping off that new wood that I put on there. And that'll give me a place to sign my name. Y'all wonder if I sign my pieces. Yes, yep. If I can't do like a stamp on them, I will put a tag, and that's about the most I can do. We do have a Bourn one too, where you burn it into the wood. I just never take the time, unfortunately, to do that one because you have to heat it up with a torch. Our daughter was so kind one Christmas to get that for us. Okay, got it all taped off. I taped the whole thing in case when I'm going across, I drip. I've been known to do that. So I'm going to be doing some green on green, not the hunter green that was there, but I'm going to mix basil within a pickle to kind of make the fun color like the darker hue is on that little stool from spraying it. I definitely love to mix I love to mix these paints, so I think I'm going to do half and half. So I think I'm going to try to do 1.5 scoops. Powder, so if you're not used Sweet Pickins paint, you see it is a powder that you mix with equal parts water, just tap water, room temperature, nothing fancy. You just mix it all together, incorporating all that powder into the liquid. Stir it for about 2 minutes. Make sure you're scraping the sides, scraping the bottom, making sure that you get everything. Well, that's a fun color. Okay, so I've got shellac sprayed on here. We have it flipped over. I'm taking some of the Sweet Pickins beeswax to get that chippy off. So I'm hoping the shellac helps give the little crazes and crackle, but I'd like it to chip off. Not maybe as much as it was, but okay, we're thickened up a little bit. I'm just going to get it on. This is probably a lot brighter than what the hunter green that was on there. But it's almost like hunter green is dated for some reason, you know. I used to do a lot of hunter green back in the day, but let's see how much of a mess I'll make flipping this over so I can do the other side while this side is still wet. Yeah. Oh, maybe I can. Not too bad. Only one touch job. Not bad at all. Because I just have the top to do. So remembering to wax. That's always the part, like when you're doing a multi areas on an item and have to wait for other paint to dry. It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot to wax. Whoops. So where you put the wax, the paint's going to separate. You're going to think that you didn't get enough paint on, but it's the wax separating it, doing what the wax is supposed to do. Moving on to coat number 2. This will be my final coat, and then we'll just have to let it completely dry and see, oh, pour it out. See what chippiness, if any, we get. I hope so. I have not tried the DIY paint underneath it before, so I don't know if that'll change. I would not think so, because I have, the shellac to seal that in. We're dry, even though you see darker areas, it is dry. So let's take the sander. I see some crazy and some crackling. I don't know. We'll have to see how this works. Not as much chippiness as I thought, but the nice thing about it, it did go down to just the green of DIY, so that was nice. So I'm going to darken it up, bring everything detail out with some aging wax by Fusion. You got to seal your milk paint in. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. There we go. It takes that scary green sometimes that in the pickle can be very scary, but the basil could be very dark, but that's just, that is a fun. And then the aging wax will stick in those details so that it just looks like it's authentic, that it's been old. But you can tell once you touch it, like, oh, well, that feels nice and smooth, not like an older piece would. But I'm glad I could save this little $2 bench. I don't know why people don't. I mean, you have these on the side now to carry it. So people, like I said, I've never had any luck selling ones with the grabber in the middle. A big old handmade bench. Not the prettiest. It's got very harvesty brown and orange. And I don't know if it was chippy paint on there that they, I like a little bit of texture, but it's really noticeable through that orange paint. So first of all, it's glossy. So we're going to have to sand it. White. Original white paint is tough. Whatever's left on there is left on there. So we're just going to use the chippiness to our advantage. But I am going to get it wiped down with some Dawn dish soap and some hot water. Since I have no idea what any of this paint is, I'm assuming this was like a latex or a spray paint. And then whatever the old white paint is. And then, yeah. So let's seal it all in with shellac. I'm still going to look for crackling and crazing and all that, but the brown's not pretty, the orange is not pretty. Of course, I sanded as best as I can, within reason of what you're going to get for an item. So there's still lots of texture from the paint chips of the white. So I'm just going to go ahead and do white over the entire thing and then do some paint layering on there. DIYs, White Swan. This is nice because you can dry it in between. You know, like I'm only going to put one coat on because I'm going to be layering paint. So I'll probably put it on kind of heavy. It doesn't have to be perfect. The shellac will help grab it. But just because it was a $2 bench doesn't mean it can't have fun and be pretty at the end. Hopefully, I don't know. I got to get my vision out of my head onto the item now. And always trusting the process of the whole thing is, because sometimes you just make it up as you go. Okay, now I'm going to dry in between, or dry it so I can move on, flip it over and get what I need out of underneath. Now I'm going to seal my white paint in, and I am going to use some shellac, which will probably yellow white paint. That's why you don't want to use it as a finished coat. But I want to seal this in because I'm still looking for chippiness and I'm still looking for crackling by the time I get done. I am doing similar processes on the two benches for the chippiness. I did a really long bench not too long ago where I sprayed it with white primer, I did yellow, and then I did green, and it did sell. So that's my motivation. So since it sold, I don't mind doing more. So I'm going to be waxing this one with beeswax. That one I only did candle wax, and boy, I get a lot of good chippiness from, well, it's going to have a little green from the other item I did earlier, but that's okay. If it's the spring or it's just green in general. Green has been selling for me like hotcakes, maybe because I'm painting it all the time, but my other colors are kind of sitting there. So I'm going to, for the bench that I painted white, that was just, oh, that was a wild color. We're going to mix Cheshire, which is a light green, in a pickle. And we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to do 2 scoops of Cheshire. So we're going for a little bit lighter cottagey color. I'm going to do 1 of pickle. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's what I was looking for, that old-timey green, but not terribly too bright, a little bit on the springy side. Be careful. You know, that's where you can, like with milk paint, you'll see your, you know, like your stopping point. So just, if you see that big old line from the brush, just gently glide over it a little bit more. Oh. Yeah, I gotta touch a little bit. I gotta touch. Almost. There we go. Oh, stuck my landing. Yeah, give it a try. Just a little bit of paint. I didn't get the top and I almost forgot. That's how that goes. It's like you need a little bell to go, ding, you need. Don't do that yet. Okay, second coat. What a difference color can make. It's hard to believe what this bench looked like before. Of course, I can see all the chips that I left behind, but hopefully if the paint, I'm hoping the paint chips. It's not doing it quite yet, but so the paint is dry. I'm going to go ahead and take a sander. You can see as I'm rubbing, just my hand is taking some of the, where the wax was, taking it off. I'm not going to seal it in with any spray or anything because I really wanted you to be able to see the white. Now I love the color. Absolutely love the chippy white underneath where all that white was. So I'm just sealing everything in. You need to seal your milk paint in with just some clear wax. No color. That's going to be just brighten that green right back up. Like where all that texture was, it looks like it was, this is the way it just aged. So that my vision worked out. I don't know whether you guys all love it. I absolutely love it. I love this green color. Oh my gosh, it's just fun. The chippiness is fun. And just wipe off the excess. No, I'm not adding any dark to it whatsoever. I'm keeping it this nice, fun lightness. So I would say if you run across a corner cabinet, pick it up, because I've done a couple and they've already sold. So even the one that we made. So there's this guy, and there again, I'm going to take the door off because people like to see their collections. They like to see the yummies that they have spent the time searching for, collecting, open cabinetry. Even if it's not for very many pieces, they still have an area they can display. I'm not sure why we have the world's smallest screws on these hinges. Yes, if you're going to be a flipper and somebody who makes over stuff, you need to have multiple sizes of things. So yes, you can see where they notched it out, and then that there's a hole in the back on both sides all the way through. Okay, so let's get some Bondo out and get that filled in. Use this as wood filler because the cure time is within 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, and I can sand it. Makes it easier to work on your project if you don't have to wait forever for wood putty to dry. So it has this little hardener, and you can see you don't need a ton. And then you just start mixing the two together. You only have a minute or so of work time though, so as soon as you mix that together, it's going to start to cure and harden. Now we are hard, ready to sand, but I want to take away some of this very sharp edge. Not like cut it off, but sand it so it's not. That was like a trend, all these sharp, flat edges. I like rounded edges because it feels better when you grab on something, but that's just me. So I have this scallop piece that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and I thought that would be a nice little Cottagecore, to add a little detail to this piece. It's been laying in my stash, so I don't want to just cut it off and then have an ending piece not be rounded. So I'm trying to eyeball like where this would look nice. I think I have one. I'm going to paint it, so. And then there we go. So I think I like it, so I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to do all 3 shelves. So I'm just matching up. Now I know like these are not even, but it's okay. They're close. It's about not having like offsetted. I tried my best, y'all. It's not something I normally do, but Yeah, so I'm going to cut 3 of them and then take off the... I'm going to use some Tight Bond Quick and Thick. A little bead of glue on there. And then I'll put a brad nail in. Maybe. Do a little wood filler just in where I put the brad nails. Little space, so it won't take terribly long to dry. I'm going to take the sander, take that sharp edges, and then sand where I put the wood putty. Okay, lots of raw wood, especially with the scallop pieces I bought from Hobby Lobby. Bondo, so we're going to seal this all in with shellac.
Soak in and dry. Takes like 5-10 minutes, and then you put on the second coat.
So for this one, I'm going to do, like, that was like a gray blue. I like the blue. I'm not going to go for a lot of chippiness because especially with this wood, and I didn't like try to pre-stain it. So I'm going with one of Jamie Ray Vintage's DIYs. It's the one step that has the top coat in it. Muracana. Sorry, I'm going to slaughter it, y'all. So, yeah, that's what we're painting it. It's like to me, it's like a robin egg blue. And I find this paint to be so used to using the clay and the milk paint that this seems so runny, but we are just going to go ahead and get it on. Got a lot of surface area to cover there. But usually, the first coat always kind of looks translucent. And I'm just a small brush lover. I like the control. I like the easy of clean up. I feel like I'm not wasting and rinsing a whole bunch of paint down the drain. Just a personal preference. So that's why I'm always using smaller brushes. I thought if I went with the little cottage theme of the scallops, I should go with a cottage color, right? Okay, I'm on to my second coat. I've already done a few areas. Ones that you wouldn't really see very well on camera. I think the outside may just take the 2 coats, but I think the inside's a little bit smoother, that it's going to take maybe 3 coats, is my guesstimate. We'll see how it works. Okay, 3 coats, 2 coats. I'm going to sand it now, and let's see what it does. There's so much texture in the wood. When I went to sand it to smooth it, it gave all these beautiful character marks. Oh, my heart is happy about that. We're going to go in with aging wax, and we're going to take this up a notch. Now this has top coat in it, so it's not really going to change the paint too awful much, I wouldn't think, but it's going to get in some details, some of the raw wood spaces. Or wax on, wax off does. Something. Always trying to get those corners. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Yes, just making over some medium-sized items, but $2. Where can you go wrong? Where can you go wrong with $2? And creating them into some amazing cottagecore French, provincial, farmhouse decor. I love the shades. The colors I think are going to sell, especially going into this spring and summer season. They're absolutely beautiful. Not everybody's jam is chippiness, but so far so good for a resale anyway for me. So I hope I've shared the how-to of doing it, a little bit different technique of layering paint, whether you see it or not, you know. Anyway, so thanks for watching. We will see you next time. You can see what I'm up to. Bye.